Every morning you put on a performance. You know exactly which version of yourself to present depending on who's watching. At work, you're competent and agreeable. With friends, you're fun and easygoing. With women, you're confident and interesting. With family, you're whatever keeps the peace. You become so skilled at code switching between these personas that you've forgotten something critical. None of them are actually you. You're a collection of calculated responses designed to manage other people's perceptions. And the worst part? You don't even realize how exhausting this is because you've never known anything different. The performance started early. You learned that certain behaviors got positive reactions and others got negative ones. So you optimized. You figured out which emotions were acceptable to express and which ones had to be hidden. You discovered that authenticity often led to rejection, while performance led to acceptance. So you made the rational choice. You became what others wanted. But here's what nobody told you. Every year you spend perfecting performance, the real you gets buried deeper. Eventually, you reach a point where you can't remember what you actually think, feel, or want beneath all the layers of adaptation. Watch yourself in different contexts, and you'll see the pattern. Your opinions shift depending on the audience. Your humor changes based on who's in the room. Your confidence levels fluctuate wildly depending on external validation. You don't have a core, you have a chameleon response system. This feels like social intelligence, and maybe it is, but it's also a prison, because when everything about you is contextual, nothing about you is real. You've traded authenticity for acceptance, and now you're stuck with acceptance from people who don't actually know you. There's a specific exhaustion that comes from this constant performance that physical rest never fixes. You sleep 8 hours and wake up tired. You take vacations and come back drained. You're never truly relaxed because even in your downtime, you're monitoring yourself, making sure you're responding appropriately, saying the right things, maintaining whatever image you've decided to project. Your nervous system never gets a break because the performance never stops. Even alone, you're rehearsing conversations, replaying interactions, managing your internal narrative about who you are. The relationships built on performance are inherently unstable because they require you to maintain the act forever. She didn't fall for you. She fell for the curated version you presented. Your friends don't know you. They know the entertaining character you play around them. Your colleagues respect a professional facade that bears little resemblance to who you actually are. You think these connections validate you, but they don't. They validate your performance. And somewhere deep down, you know this, which is why no amount of external success feels genuinely satisfying. The applause is for someone who doesn't exist. Let me tell you what happens when the mask finally cracks. Maybe you're under extreme stress and can't maintain the performance. Maybe you're drunk and the real opinions slip out. Maybe you're exhausted and the agreeable persona fails. Whatever the trigger, suddenly people see something that doesn't match their expectations. And their reaction tells you everything. They're uncomfortable, disappointed, maybe even angry. Not because you did something objectively wrong, but because you violated the character they thought you were. This is the cost of performance-based relationships. People aren't connected to you. They're connected to their projection of who you are. The most dangerous part of living behind a mask is that it prevents real growth. You can't develop genuine confidence while constantly performing confidence. You can't build actual competence while pretending to have it. You can't form authentic connections while managing impressions. Real development requires being honest about where you are, which skills you lack, what you don't know. But you can't do that because the performance requires maintaining the illusion of having it together. So you stay stuck, getting better at the performance while the actual person underneath remains underdeveloped. There's a reason you avoid certain situations. They threaten to expose a gap between who you pretend to be and who you actually are. You avoid challenges that might reveal incompetence. You avoid vulnerability that might show weakness. You avoid deep conversations that might expose how little you've actually thought about important questions. Every avoidance is self-protection, but it's also self-limitation. The things you're afraid will expose you are exactly the experiences that would develop you. But development requires dropping the mask, and you're more committed to maintaining the image than becoming something real. Your internal dialogue is probably brutal. You're constantly evaluating your performance, noting mistakes, criticizing yourself for not being smooth enough, smart enough, impressive enough. But here's the twist. You're not criticizing the real you. You're criticizing your performance as the fake you. You're beating yourself up for not being better at being someone you're not. This is insanity. You're suffering twice. Once for the exhaustion performance, and again from judging yourself for not performing perfectly. Meanwhile, the actual person you are never gets acknowledged, developed, or expressed. The men who command genuine respect aren't performing anything. They have clear values and live by them regardless of who's watching. They have opinions and express them even when it's unpopular. They have boundaries and enforce them even when it creates conflict. They're the same person in every context because they're not trying to be liked. They're trying to be authentic. This consistency is magnetic because it's rare. Most people are so busy adapting that they've forgotten what having a core even feels like. When you meet someone who isn't performing, who isn't managing their image, who's just solidly themselves, it's startling. You know what's interesting? The approval you're working so hard to earn isn't even satisfying when you get it. Someone praises you, and instead of feeling genuinely good, you feel relief that the performance worked. You succeed at something, and instead of authentic pride, you feel anxiety about maintaining the standard. You impress someone, and instead of connection, you feel pressure to continue impressing them. This is because deep down, you know the approval isn't for you. It's for the character. And characters don't feel fulfilled. They just get applause. The path to becoming real is simple but brutal. Start telling the truth. Not tactlessly, not without consideration, but truthfully. When someone asks your opinion, give your actual opinion instead of the one you think they want to hear. When you don't know something, admit it instead of pretending. When you disagree, say so instead of nodding along. When something bothers you, address it instead of swallowing it. Each truth is a small act of authenticity that chips away at the performance. And yes, some people will react badly. Some relationships will end. Some opportunities might close. But here's what you gain. You gain yourself. The resistance you feel to dropping the mask isn't about other people. It's about you. You're terrified of discovering that without the performance, you might not be impressive. That the real you might be ordinary, flawed, unremarkable. But here's the thing. Ordinary and real beats extraordinary and fake every single time. The person you actually are, with real strengths and real weaknesses, with genuine thoughts and honest emotions, with authentic preferences and true values, that person can grow. The performed version is static. It can only get better at performing, never at actually being. Let me tell you what freedom actually feels like. It's being the same person everywhere. Not because you perfected some identity, but because you stopped performing entirely. You say what you think, feel what you feel, want what you want, and let people respond however they respond. Some people won't like you. Some people will respect you more than ever. Some relationships will deepen. Others will end. But for the first time, you'll know that the connections you have are real. That the respect you receive is earned by who you actually are, not by who you're pretending to be. The performed life is a slow death. Every year you maintain the mask, the real you atrophies a little more. Your genuine interests fade because you never pursue them. Your actual opinions weaken because you never express them. Your true personality dims because you never let it out. Eventually you become hollow, skilled at social performance but empty inside. You have the appearance of life while feeling completely disconnected from living. This is a deal you made without realizing it. Acceptance in exchange for existence. Here's the practice that changes everything. Spend time alone with no performance required. No phone, no entertainment, no distractions. Just you, sitting with whoever you actually are when nobody's watching. This will be uncomfortable at first because you're meeting a stranger. You've spent so long being who others need that you don't know who you are when that pressure is removed. But in that discomfort is liberation. You start discovering what you genuinely enjoy, not what you perform enjoying. What you actually think, not what gets good reactions. Who you really are when the audience disappears. The transformation isn't about becoming someone new. It's about removing everything fake until only truth remains. You're not building a better character. You're dismantling the character entirely to reveal the person underneath. This person might be less polished in the performance, less impressive in some ways, less universally likable, but they'll be real. And reality, no matter how imperfect, beats performance every time. Because only reality can grow, can connect authentically, can experience genuine satisfaction. Stop performing. Start existing. Let people see the unedited version and trust that whoever stays is worth keeping. Let opportunities pass if they require being someone you're not. Let relationships end if they can't survive your authenticity. What you lose in breadth, you gain in depth. What you sacrifice in quantity, you reclaim in quality. The life built on truth might be smaller, but it's yours. The life built on performance might look impressive from outside, but you're not living it. You're just starring in it. Choose existence over applause. Choose authenticity over acceptance. Choose becoming real over remaining impressive. The man you pretend to be is killing the man you could become. Stop the performance. Start the life.